Hi there, my name is Vigo and this is the beginning of the end of a two-part year-long project. Last August my brother and I got some of our friends, filmed them talking about Scottish independence and edited it together into one big mess. This year we've done basically the same thing with a couple of differences. Before we show you that, we're going to show you last year's efforts, complete with intro and introductions from yours truly, to get you up to speed. Enjoy!
Independence.
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 Independence?
Independence.
Independence.
Independence? My name is Vigo Love, and in just over a year's time I, along with thousands of others, am going to be voting in the referendum for Scottish independence. I've spent many months thinking deeply about it, and more recently I came to the sound conclusion that I have virtually no idea where I stand on the subject whatsoever. And so, I did what any self-respecting, politically aware young man would do in my position. I got all my friends, put them in front of cameras, and got them to think about it for me. And so without further ado, here is what they think.
Well, I think independence has the potential to be a very good thing. I mean, Scotland is a windy coastal country, so it'd have great exports of energy and power. You know, it has all this land that could be used for agriculture. I think it has the potential to be a great, thriving, independent nation.
I think it's definitely a bad thing because there's a certain type of nationalism that comes along with independence that I think is negative for Scotland's culture, and also just for like really basic reasons like economy and education and things like that.
I think it's got good points and it's got bad points, but personally I think the bad points will outweigh the good points.
I think it can be a good thing, but I'm personally against it because I've seen people, the reasons for it often seem to be quite flimsy. I've often seen people argue basically that if we get independence all our problems will be solved, and that's just, a bit ridiculous.
The Scotland we live in now is good, but I'd like to live in one where maybe people are more able to pursue the career opportunities they want, and also maybe where people are more aware of the culture of the whole of Europe or the whole of Britain rather than just their singular culture.
I think independence is a really good thing for Scotland and our country and our future and our children's future.
I guess for some countries it is and for some countries it isn't.
My problem with it is, I know this might sound a little stupid and daft, is that I don't want to have to go through passport control every time I want to visit my granddad down in Surrey.
I mean, some problems, yes, might be solved. The English do have some kind of ridiculous policies and whatnot, but I get the feeling it might be more beneficial for us if we stayed together.
What real point is there in Scottish independence anyway? I mean, we've got our own parliament, we sort our own laws, we're practically independent already.
Chance that we wouldn't be as likely to join in with Afghanistan wars and such that have happened in the past if they happened again. But there's also a chance that a government would want to gain favours with England and do it anyway.
When I first heard about independence at school, I was completely against it. I thought, better together, that's just the way to go. Because my mum and dad both thought that as well, and I just normally go with what my mum and dad think. So, I was just completely for better together. But then, as time went on, everyone seemed to changing their mind, thinking, yes, Scotland and all that, and thinking independence is a good idea. And even my dad eventually changed his mind, and I didn't know why. I thought, no, that's a terrible idea, why? But the SNP seemed to have quite good policies, and my dad and most of my family are really against conservatives and stuff. So if Scotland, and I'm pretty sure Scotland is really against conservatives, so if we did become independent, it would be very unlikely that there'd be any conservative in the government or anything. So yeah, I changed my mind, and I still have no idea what I want to do yet.
So there you have it. In just over a year's time, these people, along with the rest of Scotland, will be voting on whether it should become independent. And that question alone begs at least 1,000 others, so why aren't they being asked? I feel like there's a lot of politics going around and not a lot of vision, and I'm worried that if we do become independent, it'll just end up being the same game with different players. Guess we'll just have to wait and find out. Right, so that was last year's production, from way back when everyone was young and cynical. Now we're going to show you everyone a year on with some updated points of view and some opinions that have either changed or not.
We, the Scottish people, have 8.4% of the UK population and therefore democratically 8.4% of the say. That would be perfectly okay if it wasn't for the fact that Scottish people, generally speaking, have very different political mindsets to those of the rest of the UK.
You know, the whole of Scotland and Wales could vote, say, for one party, and then so long as England doesn't want them in, they're not going to get in.
For example, I think the English Parliament said we wouldn't keep the pound, but the Scottish Parliament are going, oh yes, we will, and we'd lose the BBC, and it's a lot of contradictory stuff being thrown around by each side.
I can definitely see benefits to independence, but I can also see problems with independence. So obviously we'd have a lot more autonomy, so our votes would count for more.
We have the ability to have renewable energy. We have wind, hydroelectric, you name it.
I mean, we'd be able to choose from like a variety of left-wing parties.
The NHS in Scotland is nationalised and will be nationalised for a very long time.
But on the other hand, there are lots of risks that come with being independent, like the employment issue, and as a young person about to go to university, that's definitely something that worries me quite a lot.
I mean, of course, there's the possibility it could all fall apart, but I mean, I doubt it could be any worse than it really is.
At the moment, I'm not very sure. I mean, I've been going from yes and no for quite a while now.
I mean, obviously there are risks becoming independent, but I think at the end of the day, if we become independent for the right purposes, it could work.
The last time that Scotland tried for a referendum, I can't remember when that was, it was a while ago. The English Parliament basically went, right, you've had your fun, now we're going to make life difficult for you.
We have the oil fields up in Shetland that were recently found the biggest in the world, possibly.
I also heard that Salmond had been talking about trying to scrap Trident if we became independent. I thought that would be a great thing to happen, but there's a lot less of a chance of it happening if we are with Britain.
And also to get away from a Tory government that doesn't suit the needs of Scotland at all is a good thing.
If we got independence, I have no idea what would happen. But the problem is, I don't know if things would stay the same if we didn't get independence.
I would say that they have to a certain extent. I went from being a yes voter to a very determined yes voter.
My opinions have definitely changed. Last year I was very much against Scottish independence.
Yes, they have, because last year I only just heard about it and I wasn't really acting on facts for a lot of the time, so I basically just went as a knee-jerk reaction, no, this is a bad thing, let's not do Scottish independence.
Last year I was voting no, or at least I thought I was, but at the moment I'm veering towards yes.
Originally I didn't see any reason to become independent, but as time has passed, more reasons have been appearing, and eventually I was swayed.
Now, having updated my information a bit more, I'm a bit more hesitant about saying that.
They haven't changed, just strengthened.
I think since last year my opinions have definitely strengthened towards yes.
I'll probably still vote no, just because that way it should lead to more devolution, which is what I would like, but I wouldn't be terribly upset if a yes vote was what came through.
So there you go, 7 opinions that have changed, evolved, or stayed almost entirely the same since last year. Of course, this is by no means a comprehensive poll of the Scottish youth as a whole, quite the opposite in fact. This is just a very small part of a very small demographic. People we know who are willing to take part in a project that was, at the end of the day, almost entirely for our own twisted entertainment. In any case, we hope you found this intriguing, entertaining, or if you're one of the people involved, utterly mortifying. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Warning, there will be no next time.